Well, welcome back to the Appalachian Outfeed. If you go back a couple of videos, a video or so, about a week ago, this tree behind me woke up in the morning and the thing had split off and fell across the driveway, and did a video just on that cleanup. And tomorrow's the big day though. Tomorrow, about 14 hours from now, we'll be out here cutting on this thing to drop it. Don't feel like I got a choice on that. The way the bottom of the base busted up and splintered up, water's going to get in there and it's going to rot, and it's going to eventually become a hazard and fall. So the thinking is the best thing to do is go ahead and take it down while it's healthy. A little bit concerned because of the big chunk that's missing off of it, but the tree, it appears that the portion of tree that's left standing is healthy and strong, got good fiber and everything. So other than having a kind of a jacked up face cut, I think we're going to be okay on this. Got my neighbor with a milling machine coming over tomorrow to help me out, give me some moral support. And so yeah, you may be able to see I've got a cable in this thing. It's not where I wanted to get it, but it was where I was able to get it. I wanted to get the cable up in the crotch of the tree up here, but when I threw my throw line over there earlier, the V on that crotch is so tight, I couldn't shake the line on through and get the far end down to where I could grab it. So in the alternative, we are around this big branch right there, and so we're a couple of feet below where I had wanted to be to start with. So I think that's going to be fine. Again, not what I was hoping for, but it's what we got. And so from there, the cable will run over to this tree here. And well, let me back up a step. So at the end of the cable here, we'll throw a block on there. And if I got enough cable to do all this. And so we'll anchor to this tree over here, run the cable out through the block, back to another block on that tree, and head over to that group of trees right there, which is where the come along will be secured. And that's where my neighbor will be cranking on it with the come along. So that's kind of the plan. If that doesn't work out, it'll be a direct pull from the cable on the tree, pulley on that one, so we can then hang on to those other trees over there and winch from over there. Got plenty of cable to do that. I'm pretty confident. I don't know if I got enough cable to do all this pulley and stuff I want to do. We'll find out in the morning. So that's it. The original plan was that we're going to do that shark gill cut that all the cool kids are doing now. And quite honestly, Buck and Billy Ray broke me off of that. He made a little comment in a video that I watched yesterday. About he didn't get too far into it, but he doesn't seem impressed with that. So the original plan was to do the shark gill thing and then literally crank the thing over with a come along, because honestly, so this thing is yet again on a hillside. I really don't want to be there when that thing lets go. But so I was going to do the shark gill thing and then literally just crank it over. In lieu of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a traditional face cut, traditional back cut, get some wedges in there, and when it's almost cut up, I'm going to turn the saw off, walk away, give the high side to the neighbor, and let him start cranking on the come along. We're going to go ahead and put some tension on it before I start cutting, but not a lot. Mainly, this thing's got a little bit of back lean that way. But the top though curves back toward the road and then kind of comes back. So it almost negates itself. But again, got an 8-ton come along for a little bit of insurance, and I just don't want to be around when this thing lets go. I wish we had full wood on the bottom to put in a full face cut and do that right, but we don't, which is why we got to take down the tree. The only other thing I'm kind of thinking about with all this is one of the items I wish I had on that 500i is a full wrap handle. When I bought it, I couldn't get a full wrap handle. I drug my feet on it. That's a couple $100. So by the time it's over with, we end up turning a $1,500 saw into a $2,000 saw. That's not what I'm trying to do here. It's going to put me in a little bit of a bind from where I can cut and how this thing is going to go. But we're going to make it work. Again, I'm not super excited about that, but yeah. So all in all, I got a few concerns about this tree, mainly the missing wood, but the missing wood is what's driving this whole thing. But hopefully, we'll get this thing down and get it bucked up, and you can see I've got the piece there on the ground. I showed this on the last video with that kind of cool coloration and grain, and hopefully we'll end up with something somewhat matching coloration and grain. And I don't know, again, I don't know what that's going to be. Neighbor says, yeah, we can probably get that flattened out one way or another, so we're going to take a shot at that. And again, worst case scenario, end up with some good old poplar firewood. Whoop, baby, I have to knock y'all down. All right, so that's what I got. So it's the night before the day of, and I'm sure I'll be noodling on this all night. Maybe inspiration will strike by in the morning, and I'll have a bright idea of it better than what I've got. But I've been thinking about this ever since the tree came down, and this is what we're going to do. One of the reasons we're doing it the way we're doing it is, again, somewhere up in here is a telephone line that I am convinced the original broken off part hit but didn't tear down. I've got a willow tree right here that I really want to keep. That's really what I'm trying to avoid hitting. And obviously I don't want to get hung up in these trees over there. So we're shooting for somewhere left of the middle to the left. And if we can do that, I'm going to be a pretty happy guy. So that's it. Yep. Next time you see me, we ought to be should have all the cabling rigged up, and we'll be firing up the saw, and we'll see how she goes. I'm sure it'll be fine. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in a bit. Kind of screwed up because I can't. I've still got a good bit to go.
As far as depth of it?
Yeah. I still got a lot of way to get to the hinge, but this is really screwing me up not having any wood on this side. Let's see if I can cut it from the other side over there. Get those cleaned up. Thoughts? You got any thoughts?
Oh, I think you're looking good. I would just bring that around. Come up, I say 1 inch per foot of die. Come up 2 inches. And I'd start my back cut. I mean that's a perfect face cut. And you got all your hinge there, so.
Yowza.
Never a doubt.
Well, okay, so we're going to file this one under all's well that ends well. We are at the end of the day, and as you can probably tell, got the tree down successfully. Very little drama, no bloodshed, which is always good. And ended up getting one 10-foot piece and two 8-foot pieces of tree trunk milled down. That yielded right at 2 dozen 1-inch boards, and they're running everywhere from like 1x6 to 1x10, maybe some 1x12s in there. So all in all, a pretty good day. Worked pretty hard today. Neighbor really came through and really helped me out, and yeah, so overall just a really good day, and just a fair bit of work, but everything went about as well as I could have asked for it to. The Stihl MS500, my goodness, man, that thing just, and it's the chain, but this saw just absolutely rips through this poplar. It almost cuts too fast sometimes. When I was trying to cut mainly the back cut on the tree, it was going as fast as I could think, which really isn't that fast, but it was really cutting, and so that's pretty cool. But easy task for that saw. I may have mentioned earlier that one of my wishes for this thing is a full wrap handle, and not having a full wrap was a little bit of a problem here. I was trying to stay on this side of the stump because that was my escape route, but as you saw, I had to get on the other side of the stump to get the face cut in. It just wasn't happening. Part of my problem was trying to start my face cut. I didn't have any wood to dog into because this big chunk was already missing. I was having to, guess at it, and it worked out, but it was kind of dicey and not ideal. So yeah, full wrap on a saw would have been a little bit easier, a little bit better, especially on the back cut. But it worked. So I made a couple of mistakes on my felling cuts. Well, first of all, I didn't gun the face cut just right. You can take a look and see the tree, which ends up being right at 33 paces or so. So one of my main criteria was trying to avoid hitting that willow tree, and we did, but not by much. I was shooting for splitting the difference between this tree over here and the willow, and if I could have dropped it in that far quadrant over there, that far quarter, that would have been ideal. But like I said, stump was giving me a little bit of problem because I didn't have any wood to dog into because I'm starting out in open air. But yeah, about 100-foot tall tree. I think by far the tallest tree I've ever tried to drop. You can see I still got a mess to clean up. We still have, I think, 3 pieces, at least 2 pieces we're going to try to mill, maybe 3. And just looking at it a minute ago, probably, so what we're going to end up with is, if you remember, kind of what started this, looking at it upside down, but to me that piece that broke off, that crotch right there, kind of looks like angel's wings. And so you've got a mirror image facing the ground right there. I didn't realize, well, yeah, I did. That's a lot of wood right there. So the goal was to get the other half that's facing the ground milled down flat. But we may get some more wood out of this yet. I think that's about a 10-foot piece there from the stump to where it kind of tapers down. Speaking of the stump, let's take a look at that real quick. You can see all my boo-boos. So first of all, I didn't gun the face cut the way I should have, but I'm going to give myself a pass on that because of what I was working with this missing chunk of wood right here. One thing I did do well is I put in this massively, ridiculously tall face on this thing, which ended up working in my favor because, as you can see, I missed the bottom of the cut by 3 or 4 inches. So that was another kind of boo-boo, but my ridiculously large face cut kind of saved me on that. That being said, I had pretty decent holding wood. The other thing that happened while I was cutting on this rig is I did not realize that my bar was this far over compared to there. So I ended up with maybe right out an inch of hinge wood right here. And on the other side, I probably got close to 3 inches over here. And of course, got this big old long nasty piece, which is great. This wood doesn't strike me as being particularly strong either. So I didn't realize how far the saw had come over on this side, and I think that's when it started letting go. I will say though that if you look down at the what's on the cut piece, we can get to it. There's actually some pretty good wood hanging in there. So again, we're going to file this one under all's well that ends well. Oh, and that's the other thing. That face cut was pretty deep that way. Yeah, I went about half of the tree, which is not really what I was shooting for, but again, I was kind of flying blind. In retrospect, I might have been better just doing the face cut from the other side and let this be what it be, but I don't know. Well, again, going back to the foot wrap handle, I'd have been upside down and backwards with the saw. One last little point of interest on the stump, at least for me, was right down in here. Again, I don't know what that is. So there's a knot right here, and that obviously has something to do with that black whatever's going on down in there. But so yeah, man, this thing was going to fail a couple of different ways sooner or later. So I'm glad we got it down. But all in all, really good day. Got a lot done. I've still got a mess to clean up. I'm about to take the saw and kind of nip some of this down so I can try to get my cable back out of this thing. The cable, that worked pretty well. It didn't work the way I had it in my head because the cable was too long, so we ended up having to go to a different tree. So my neighbor who was manning the come along said that he got some cranks on that thing as it was going, or right before it went. But I'm gonna tell you, when that thing started going, it went fast. It did not mess around. It didn't hang out on the stump very long, which is not what I was going for. I was going for really trying to ease this thing down. The lean on this thing was really hard to figure because the trunk was leaning forward, but the top was leaning back, and you know, I didn't know how that was going to go. But having that cable in there was a great peace of mind. I had a bunch of wedges up here that I thought I was going to get my back cut in, bang some wedges, turn the saw off, walk away, and get him cranking on the come along, but wedges never came into play. I was using the Nike defense on this thing. So, but again, overall, I'll take it. Again, biggest tree that I've falled. You know, nothing hypercritical. Got the phone line over there, but I was really confident about not hitting the phone line. glad we saved the willow tree. But yeah, overall just a real good day in Appalachia. I'll take it. Even the jets were flying a lot today. I think I said the other day that I think I caught them on the fence video, fence post thing. I think I called them F-18s or something. They're not F-18s. I think they're F-35s. It's whatever the Navy's flying right now. They got two, I don't know what you call them, on the tail. They got two uprights back there. I looked them up, and they cruise at about 770 miles an hour or something like that. And they come over right, they pop up right over the back of the hill of the house. And when they do, it's pretty wild. And I think throughout the day, usually if we see 3 in one set, that's a pretty big day. We saw at least 3 sets of 2, and there might have been 1 set of 3 in there. They had a really nice day to fly, and they took full advantage of it. So that was, hey man, that's the sound of freedom when they come over, and freedom is loud. Your tax dollars at work. Okay. Well, that's enough rambling out of me. I got to get this all fired up and again try to see if I can get my cable back off this thing. And but yeah, happy guy. All right, well that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that little thumbs up, like button below. Think about maybe subscribing to the channel. And here again, man, leave me a comment. If you got some observations on the stump or the come along setup or anything, I'd love to hear from you. All right, until next time, we'll be seeing you.
got about 28 feet before it gets into this pretty serious bend there. Right here, 29 maybe. Once we get into that, we can do shorter stuff. Yeah, that's fine.